Again, I just want you to know what I tell interviewers so that you know where they're coming from when you go and interview. The first thing that an interviewer needs to do is they need to plan for the interview. By plan, I mean, what competencies are you looking for? What skills are you looking for? Develop a list and then create questions that align with those abilities that you're looking for. Make sure you've reviewed the application and the resume thoroughly prior to them coming in the interview. And then when they come in for the interview, make sure that you started off well. When you go to an interview, you'll typically go in, you'll say, I'm here to see, Mr. Smith for an interview. Okay, have a seat, they'll be out in a few minutes. And then you're sitting out there up front waiting. So what should you be doing while you're waiting for your interviewer to come get you? And yes, what should you close up? Check this out. Okay. Cool? No? Good? Bad? No? Absolutely not. Do not do this at an interview, please. Keep your devices away. So when you're staying out front, no devices out there texting other people, making phone calls. Read a magazine. Grab a professional magazine. Don't grab the Glamour if you can avoid it. Grab something else, a Wall Street Journal paper, or just sit there. Or there's a unique opportunity you have while you're waiting a lot of times, and that is strike a conversation with the person up front. If they're not overly busy and seem open to it, have a conversation with them. How are you doing today? Yeah, and just start talking to them. Oh, are these your kids? Whatever it is, just have some small talk. Because I tell interviewers to make sure that they go back and check with the front desk to see what was the applicant doing while they were waiting. And so that front desk assessment is really important. The handshake is really important. And it seems so trivial and silly. But if you have a bad handshake, have you ever had a bad handshake with somebody where like you don't meet the hand, like they're up here, you're down, you're going around, and then you have to go interview. It's just awkward. But also for women, it's important that you don't let interviewers do this to you, which is, treating you like a lady when, you know what, I'm a potential employee. Shake their hand in a nice firm handshake. So don't let them do that to you. So if they do that, you have to pretty much twist your hand into their hand and shake it. But that's how it should start off, with a really good handshake. You come back. The interviewer should explain the process. I'm going to ask you some general questions about your past experiences, about your resume, so on and so forth. I always tell interviewers that they should not be talking more than 25% of the time, which means this time should be about you. That's why it's so important that you have good examples to talk about, because you should be doing the majority of the talking. The interview is about you to see if you're a good fit. If you're in an interview and the interviewer is talking all the time, how do they know who you are and what capabilities you have? And so that may happen to you once in a while. That could just be you got an unskilled interview, and that would be unfortunate. That sometimes does happen. So their job is not to make you nervous and uncomfortable and make you feel inhibited. Their job is to say, hi, it's great to meet you. And they're usually going to start off with pretty simple questions, such as, tell me about yourself. I think tell me about yourself is the hardest question in the world to answer. There's so much about me. Well, let me tell you, it all started back in 78. You have to start asking yourself, what do you think they want to hear? Well, let's look at the job. Let's see what they're looking for. How many of you here have done a Strengths Finder? Strengths Quest? The Gallup Top 5, okay. That's something, an assessment you can take. So it could be that you might talk about some of your strengths. And so it may sound like, well, my name is Kelly O'Brien. I'm a business communication coach, and I work with individuals to help them communicate more effectively to achieve goals. I like establishing relationships with people and learning more about their backgrounds. I always find it very interesting, the diverse group of people I run into in North Texas. And I've found it very comfortable and easy to get to know people on that level and be able to help them communicate more efficiently. All right, that was a little wordy. I'll give you that. It was on the spot. But the point is, you can take that question wherever you want. Take it to something that identifies what you're good at doing, some of your strengths. Don't get caught in the trap of saying, I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. I have a brother, a sister, and a dog and a cat. Because that's just not that important. Interviewers are going to be taking notes. Good ones should be. And they should be making eye contact in between. Your job, of course, is to maintain eye contact consistently. Just know they're going to take notes, and I tell interviewers to take notes throughout the entire interview so that you're not as sensitive to it. Because let's say you're interviewing and the interviewer's not taking notes, it's been 30 minutes, and then all of a sudden you say something and they start writing. Wouldn't you get a little freaked out? Like, what did I say? What did I do? So interviewers should consistently be taking notes throughout, and I tell them to take notes using either the STAR. You know, for their behavioral questions, I'll just say, put STAR on your sheet and take notes and see how well they do it responding to that. Or if it's a fact-finding or self-assessment, use this kind of template. And so I'm showing you this because I want you to know that interviewers are capturing the details of what you say. And if you don't give them any details, they'll have no notes on you. And when it gets time to evaluate candidate number 2291, I have no notes. Must not have been a very good candidate, and you're done. And that would really be unfortunate. So I tell them to take notes, and then I tell them, now that you have your notes, you have to evaluate your candidates. And when it comes down to similar candidates, I can tell you that based on the NACE research, that National Association of Colleges and Employers, that they will first look at, and this is for recent college graduates, they will first look at GPA. If GPA is the same, experience looks similar, they then start to move and look at leadership experience and community involvement. And so they start to look at those other factors to differentiate two similar candidates. So your willingness to get involved in different things can really make a difference if you're on equal grounding with somebody else.